Good evening. This is Spirit Journey, and today is November 2nd, 2015. This is a part 3 of the videos I did yesterday pertaining to Moses and the Anunnaki, and if there's a possible link between the two groups, well, the individual Moses and the Anunnaki. And I was wondering whether if Moses was actually half Anunnaki and about the Anunnaki in general. Now, it was said that the Anunnaki came to this planet to mine for gold and that they needed the gold to help promote longevity in their race. Now, again, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I just thought, just to play with the idea, if there's such thing as an Anunnaki and their role in this planet. And I just started thinking, like, what if such thing was true? Is their agenda still going on, or do they just lose interest on planet Earth, you know? So, but let's say they still had an agenda. What would they be doing now in the 21st century? What would it look like? What would their representatives here on Earth look like? I mean, when I say look like, I mean what they will be doing. And so I was thinking about, well, backing up a little bit. I first was thinking about if Moses had connections with this Anunnaki, that one thing Moses, he had set laws and things for the ancient Hebrews to follow. And one thing that caught my attention that I heard in the metaphysics was that about, how do you say, about energy. And that they said energy flows where, where attention is drawn to, So it's like, think of it like a magnifying glass, and you have the sun, and you take the magnifying glass, and you see how that magnifying glass, it gets like a beam or something, and it only hits a specific spot. So I'm thinking that using that as a visual about prayer, that when you pray, it's focused energy, and that focused energy has to go somewhere. So in the ancient Hebrews culture of the day, they had certain prayers and customs and foods that they had to eat. It was very specific and very different from the population around them. And so this is for a reason. And I'm being told that, like certain diets, eating certain foods promote what they call a higher vibrational frequency of your body. And that people who eat like pork or even red meats that those type of foods can actually lower your vibrational system. And the higher the vibrational system you have, the better the spiritual communications that you do. So I'm wondering, okay, maybe that is why they have that they have the dietary laws that they do. But again, regarding the prayers now, prayer has energy. Singing also is energy or vibration. And when you focus that energy, whether it's through singing, praying, meditating, you are doing those activities towards something. that these things are never done to yourself. It's always you extending it outwardly on, onto someone else, you know? So this might be in part how the Anunnaki feeds through us, through these prayers. And I start to wonder, I think I might be going off the track a little bit, but I'm just going with the thought. Now you notice in certain areas in the world or in communities that some neighborhoods or communities they have a lot of churches, and a lot of these places that have a lot of churches on one square block, that you notice that a lot of times it's very impoverished. So I'm thinking that you get someone and you oppress them, and then you set up these churches or places of worship, and a lot of singing, praying, and so all that energy is being sent somewhere. It's not being sent to the people who need it down here in those areas. So it's just something, a correlation that I noticed. But back to the ancient Hebrews, that these special prayers, they have prayer books now, and these prayers may be maybe special type of frequency to communicate to whoever that those prayers are designed for. And that's how they feed or maybe even communicate through these people. So it was just a thought I was thinking, you know. And then I started thinking about, um, I'm sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. Oh yeah, about the agenda. If the story of Moses and the story of the Anunnaki um, have a correlation, and what is the agenda today, if there is one? And I started thinking about the idea about the gold. And again, the Anunnaki supposed to be, the whole interest is about the gold for their life. And you have some, some of these people may have special abilities if they have this godlike genetics in them, and that some of them may be controlling certain things in government. And so then you have the power of administration of these people and the control of the wealth. And like you have the monetary system that, you know, the world didn't always use paper money. Think people bartered, you know, like they have this egg and the person might have milk, and you know, it even exchange. And then one time they were using gold and silver, you know, precious metals as a means of exchange. And so what would an Anunnaki do if he still needed that gold? Wouldn't they be working with the people who are supposed to represent them in the world today and give them this abilities to run things and get the the gold? So I'm thinking with what they call the Illuminati and the like, they might start special, you know, change governmental systems, um, change things in banking, so they can get control of the gold. But they don't want to be obvious. So they have to go in steps. So, like in the U.S., they like the dollar bill used to have something written on it that if you present this dollar, that you'll get the gold that it represents. Well, now such a dollar does not exist, and that the money that we have is not backed by gold or any precious metals as it used to. Okay, again, this happened in increments. It just, you know, then it just happened one day. It was gradual, and then eventually at one time laws was passed that you could not own gold. Now, how could you pass a law? Um, I think it was in the 20th century, early 20th century, that it was illegal for you to own gold, and that you had to bring this gold to the government, and then the government didn't give it to you back. So this gold has to go somewhere, and if the Anunnaki has put its people in I'm sorry, my voice is going in strategic areas. So where is it? I've been hearing over the internet that the gold that's supposed to be locked up, is missing. Gold is very heavy, and it is something that is so conspicuous, you know, because the requirement of to be able to carry it and to not have people see it, you know. So, but it's somewhere. So I started thinking, okay, where does that fit in this picture? In the 1950s or 60s, NASA was formed in the U.S. And I asked myself, why would such agency be around? Why do we need some rocket to go up in the sky? There's no oxygen up in the sky. The, the the moon is supposed to be deserted and there's no water or whatever. Why such an interest in outer space and spending billions of dollars on this program? And it's not benefiting the general population, but these people in NASA have this preoccupation with, this agency. So what could it be? How do these dots come together? Then I started thinking, okay, NASA, hey, what if the missing gold is being taken by NASA and setting it out in space? Because remember in one of the stories of Sumer, it made mention that when they were initially here, they were sending their ships. They had ships on the moon, and I think another planet could have also been Mars. But they had different stations, and then they would ship the gold and send it out. I'm wondering whether that's what's happening and why NASA was formed. It just it just started like this I know sounds really wild, but you have something going on. You have literature that talks about a particular subject in history, and then you have individuals who have control over the monetary system, and then you have laws that are changed, and then you have this preoccupation with space. You know, everything, there's a reason for everything. And it's just something, it's just food for thought. Please let me know what you think, and If you have any comments, you can write them below, and you can feel free to share and subscribe. And once again, to give me the thumbs up. So, peace, guys. Bye bye.